Welcome back to the Backlog Boys podcast at the cinema with you forever and always, probably. Samuel,
Hello, how you doing?
Alexander,
Hello, how you doing?
and me, Omar. Hello, how are you doing?
Hello.
I just realized my name. I'm the only one without like a more to their name. You have Samuel, Alexander.
Well,
Yeah, and
I
you
go
just
by
Omar.
Alex.
Yeah, and I just
Sam
go by
goes
Sam.
Sam. You're
call
adding
or-
on to it.
or Manuel. I don't know.
You're making it more work for
I'm
yourself.
wearing. No, I just like the fancy names of it.
Nah,
That's nice.
I think Samuel sounds gross in English.
Really, Samuel? Yeah.
Samuel sounds
Yeah,
better
that
to me.
Yeah, Samuel is Samuel in English.
Shut up.
All right, thanks.
I-
Spanish.
No, he was
major over
just
here.
testing the Spanish version. I know what he was doing.
Oh boy. And we're back with another movie, Boondock Saints.
Yep.
This cult classic from 99 to 2000, depending on what country you're from when it came out.
Allegedly.
What do you mean allegedly?
Allegedly a cold classic.
Okay.
Oh, I thought you meant like it allegedly came out 2000. I was like, we're bored. How do you know?
It came out in 99.
Well, some places came out 2000. That's
No,
what
I'm kidding.
Either
This
way,
guy.
doesn't matter when it came out.
No, I think it came out in 1975. But I think this time my stats and facts are gonna be later in the movie.
Yeah.
The spoiler sections,
Mhm.
even the box office stuff, because that kind of relates to some of the stats and facts.
Okay.
But this movie, directed by Troy Duffy. Do you guys know?
No, I wanted to ask, like, what else has he done since?
I'll spoil the ones that two movies.
Boondock
Yeah.
Saints
Boondock
2.
Saints and Boondock Saints 2.
Is that it?
That's it.
What?
Oh, he's done. He's not done any of this.
I did see that there was
Wow.
a sequel.
I might explain why when I talk about it later.
Sure.
But as a directorial debut, he wrote this script and everything.
Yeah.
Screenplay. He was like in a band before this.
Ah.
Like was called The Brood.
Oh.
Yeah, it's the
So
same name.
no experience in screenwriting.
And yeah, then he was at when he's at the bar, like when he's working, like on his off shifts, he would just write the screenplay.
Oh,
for
it
this
shows.
movie.
Oh, that's cool.
And this guy, he's taking my bits.
No, it
But,
shows.
Yeah, that's kind of how the movie started. And again, I'll talk about it more later. But let's talk about the movie itself. And yeah, since I'm not the best summary guy, as you guys just told me a bit earlier, I'm terrible at Twitter. That I'm not good at writing a small amount of words, let alone speaking them. So I'll let Sam do the summary.
Sure. I honestly can't remember the name of the main characters. I just know.
Oh yeah, I know.
The two
I didn't even
Irish
write them,
boys.
which is really bad. I forgot to write them.
Duffin Brothers.
Oh, yeah.
One name's like Murphy or Murray.
Yeah, Murphy, I think.
Some like something brothers.
But they are brothers. Basically, the movie is centered around two Irish American brothers in, where are they? Like Boston?
It's Boston.
But it's just about them kind of dealing with the hustle and bustle of Boston, and they've got some shady works going on. The movie opens up with them in church, and there's like this big speech from the pastors talking about like the worst thing a good man can do is let evil men like keep doing their thing, and that's kind of the big impetus about the movie. Like the whole point of this movie is these two brothers essentially going on a crusade to kill these evil men and clean the world, I guess.
Connor and Murphy.
Connor and Murphy. That
Connor
makes
is
sense.
the other that guy's not
Norm
Reedus.
Reedus.
Yeah. Well, and then another aspect is William Defoe's character,
Yeah.
FBI agent, who's basically like hunting them down, trying to figure out what's going on, and some of the certain twists you learn with his character as well.
Yeah, with his investigation. But
Some of his other stuff too.
yeah, I thought it was really cool that it was like a dual storyline where you're following the Murphy the brothers or whatever.
Yeah.
Connor and Murphy and their antics, and then like at the same time you're following the FBI agents.
Cops.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was really cool. I liked that part of the narrative.
I'll let Alex go. Actually.
Oh, no, I enjoyed it when Willem Dafoe's character would like narrate what he thought happened, and we'd cut back to what were the last names?
Let's call them the brothers.
The brothers.
Too hard.
he cuts in between his narration and the brothers, and then you're almost simultaneously seeing his recollection and what actually happened.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes he's correct, sometimes he's not. Like towards the ending.
Yeah, like he
Yeah.
gets more wrong towards the end of
Yeah.
the movie, but
But I do really like, and how he like whenever someone like shoots a gun, he'll like finger gun and do it the exact same motion.
yeah, he'll mime it. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's kind of an eccentric guy, but I think he definitely has that.
Yeah.
he carries the movie in a different way. I didn't think it was gonna be like, you know, I like Willem Dafoe, and I liked how he performed in this movie as well.
I know those scenes really stood out for multiple reasons. One being really fucking stupid, and
Yeah,
they were really stupid at the same time. They were actually very serious.
Yeah, this movie doesn't take itself that seriously. Like it does handle some stuff with levity, even though it's dealing with serious issues. I like that aspect of it though. Like it was a breath of fresh air from full funny or full serious. Yeah.
It's like the in between.
Yeah.
McManus. That's the brother's last name.
McManus.
Yeah, I didn't recognize
so
that at all.
Mac for Irish and then man.
And us, the movie.
Yeah.
So I don't remember if I even brought this up last time we talked about this or not, but I've seen this movie before.
Okay.
And I actually don't think it was that long ago either. I saw it not too long ago. And I think Sam brought it up. We were talking. I was like, I've heard about this movie for a long time. Like, because it's I've always heard like it's a cult classic. Like it's a famous movie. And it's like all because Norman Reedus is in this movie. He's in The Walking Dead. I mean, my brother used to watch it all the time. And my brother, there's a movie. He's in a movie. That's this movie, Boondock Saints or whatever. So I was always like, yeah, man, I really want to watch this movie. I watched the first time. I remember I was like, that's fine. It was okay. The second time, which is this time, I got worse. Like I view it worse. Than I did.
Really?
I have.
Yes.
So see,
wow.
I wrote on here on my notes that I feel like it's good on a first watch, but it will age poorly the more you watch it.
Really?
When you watch it the
Yeah.
second time, I was like, this is dumb.
I mean, I was interested like at a very minimal level watching this movie. It was good, but I wouldn't watch it again.
And a lot of the stuff that you guys were talking about, I didn't say anything because I don't agree with a lot of the stuff. Like I don't like William Defoe's character.
What?
I don't like his antics.
I thought he
a lot of
carried the
time.
movie.
I'm not saying I'm not saying him as a person, like his actor, he was great.
Yeah.
But like some of the antics he did I thought it was dumb and cringy. Some of the detective scenes were, I didn't like them.
Yeah.
And that's a spoiler, so I won't talk about that. But yeah, I've viewed this movie less
Really?
than I originally did, and even back then I was like, it's okay.
Wow. I think this is the first time where, like, normally I'm the negative guy on this pod. But this is the first time I'm actually in a disagreement with both of you guys not liking it as much.
Yeah.
I messaged Sam. Yeah, we were there too. We're like, I was like, who recommended this movie? And Sam was like, yeah, I did. I'm glad I did. And
This movie's awesome.
I sent the emoji with the thinking like, okay, buddy.
Yeah.
I didn't want to spoil it. but
Yeah.
Okay.
I think this movie's just poorly written.
I think it's poorly directed.
That too.
A lot. Okay, go ahead.
I'm going to college for movie stuff. I'm script writing right now. I'm in a
Nerd.
class for script. I'm in a class for script writing.
Sure.
And I feel like I can write a better movie than this.
Damn.
There is
Wow.
the movie literally fades to black in the middle of scenes, and that's a big no-no in like script writing.
The opening stuff was annoying. I hated it.
What do you mean?
When they're like in the meat factory and it's like
Oh,
cut to
yeah.
black, there's a random scene, cut to black, and then some random thing. I hate
Yeah,
it.
no.
You could have cut all of that shit out. It was so pointless.
It's just very because usually that part will be in the script, like it would just say fade to black, but that's usually to indicate that you're ending like the whole thing.
Yeah.
But no, it's just in between scenes, and then it goes back to the same setting.
Yeah, I hated it. Like they were like
Yeah.
the one lady they were talking, like their utopian train.
Oh, yeah.
That scene was so dumb. Because it would be like, it would say one sentence, cut, and then go back. Say the next sentence,
It-
cut.
it
And I
was
like,
kinda goo-
holy,
Yeah, they
there
were
we go.
also like when they were talking on the phone to the Rocco character. It's just a lot of fading.
Yeah.
So bad.
There was a lot of goofiness, but I don't know. I thought it was charm to it. I don't know. Like, sure, there was like that meat packing scene was really weird. They're like throwing raw meat at each other and stuff, and I'm like,
That's
what?
disgusting in and of itself.
And then the whole trainee situation is just kind of weird. I'm like, this is kind of weird.
Also,
but-
that's wrong. That lady was wrong when he's like, oh, the rule of thumb.
Oh yeah.
That's not for that. That's not a real law.
Oh
That like, if you have a stick is bigger than its thumb, it's okay. That's not a real thing.
yeah.
Like a comedian made that up and people just still
Accepted it.
believed it.
Nice.
So that's not a thing. I think the rule of thumb was like something about the medieval times or something. Like
It probably was.
So
yeah.
she's already misinformed. So she deserved to get punched.
So Omar, do you want to tell me why this movie's a cult classic? Because I don't feel like it is.
So we were talking about this earlier.
Like,
I'm thinking, right? I apologize if I'm being offensive. All three of us are Hispanic. None of us are white. But I really think that this movie's like a white man's fantasy.
It feels
Where
like
like
it.
I imagine like the white people watch this and they imagine they're the main characters. Where they're like, oh yeah, they're just like regular guys and they can just murder a bunch of like terrible people and they're fucking like upside down shooting guns, perfectly killing people, and multiple gun shootouts and they get shot but they're still okay. They burn their wounds themselves, breaking toilets and lifting that shit up and like jumping off roofs. Like that's like their fantasy. Like I imagine any white person would be like, I wish that was me. And that's what the director was kind of going for. That's like kind of the reason why he made this movie. Where like he saw shit like that happen in real life and he's like, I really wanted to do that. He's like, I never did, well, obviously, 'cause that's murder. But he was like, yeah, like I know other people are thinking that too. Like that message in the movie is that's what he generally thinks.
Yeah,
a lot of time. That whole like people are always thinking like, oh, I wish those people died, but no one can because of the whole like
not a message. The actions they do in the movie.
Yeah.
It's like I wish I could do that.
Because this movie has no message. This movie has no plot.
Man.
I agree with that statement.
Yeah,
too. I feel like it really is just a setup to other cool scenes.
No, like it's
just like have a cool idea of a cool scene, make it all right. How are we gonna connect these couple cool scenes with the most like dumbass plot?
Well,
and then we'll get there eventually.
I feel like it started off having a plot with them wanting to go on like, oh, we're gonna kill all these bad guys. Like me and Omar were talking about Moon Knight. He kind of does that.
Yeah.
So he goes around killing people at night who do bad shit. I thought they were gonna start doing shit like this, but no, this movie goes nowhere.
Well, let's let Sam's been making a face the entire time. We'll let you defend yourself.
Sam, tell me the plot of this movie, please.
Okay, first off, I hate that you've recontextualized my interest in this movie, saying that it's a white person's fantasy, because it does seem like a white person's power fantasy. And out of the three of us, I think I am the least Hispanic, overtly Hispanic.
You're definitely the most whitest of us three.
So I'm like, I don't know, is that? Yeah, I think I'm the whitest of the group. But
see his car?
You see my car?
No. But
I got a white people car.
You're living like Larry though.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, I understand like where you guys are coming from. Like, yeah, the fade to black stuff. The plot is kind of like scattershot. I don't know. I guess on the first watch, I was just really into it. And there's some scenes. I'll get into this more in the spoiler section. But like remind me of like the goofiness and weirdness of like the Metal Gear games. Like there's like certain lines that people say and the way they act. I'm like, I love this. Like this is perfect for me because I love the Metal Gear Solid games.
They even have their own little snake scene too.
Yeah,
I remember that. We'll talk about it later.
Okay. But yeah, there's just a lot of stuff like that. I'm like, this is cool, man. Like maybe again in a second watch I'll feel differently, but on the first watch I feel like the plot is these two brothers go on a crusade against the Italian mob, you know, and that's pretty much the whole thing of this movie. And
not even the Italian.
It's not a plot if it doesn't go anywhere.
It is because they do end up doing stuff to the mob.
No,
it's not like they're just like, it's not like this is a slice of life anime where they're not doing anything.
A bad guy gets introduced.
Yes.
They die seconds later. That's not no.
What are you talking about? The bad guy gets introduced early on in the movie.
No, he's not. He's not talking about the main one.
No.
Is there a main one?
Yes.
I know. Okay, I understand what Alice is talking about.
I think yeah,
because
he's talking about the Duke.
Because
there's a lot of people that just get introduced and die later.
I understand what he's talking about because there are times where they introduce like a character, and they show like the whole name and everything, and either they die that like a little bit later, or they're just not really seen ever again until like way later, and you kind of either you forget about them, or like you're just like, why aren't they in the movie more?
Yeah,
like with the Italian main boss, he's shown in that one scene, and then you almost never see him all the way until like the last.
Is he
the
movie. Main bad guy?
Yeah, definitely he's the main.
His name's Papa Joe or something like that.
He's not really a bad guy.
I don't even remember.
He's just the same as the other characters.
He's just I took it as like there's like a mission structure. Like, you got to start with the lower level guys, and obviously you're gonna level up as you go killing. No,
they killed like the little like what are they?
The lieutenant,
the lower class people.
Yeah,
lower class.
And then they came. Oh yeah,
then they went and they killed the bosses right after.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'll jump back to positives, so we won't keep shitting on this movie. No matter what, I'm gonna say that I didn't like this movie at all, but there are a lot of good stuff in it. Like, I wrote his name because I felt bad because I fucking. All right, maybe I didn't write his name. I thought I did. Hold on, give me a quick second. Norman Reedus. I thought he was okay. I didn't think he really like
He did.
didn't do much.
He did what he had to do. Like,
Yeah.
he wasn't. His character was very understated. Like,
Here's the John. Oh, Jesus Christ, Sean Patrick Flanery, the other brother.
yeah.
I thought he was the best.
he's-
Oh, he
sounds
was really
familiar.
cool.
He's
Has he been in anything big?
not that I doubt you'd have seen. 'Cause I have a little stats fact with him,
Okay.
but yeah, I don't think he's in anything you would know.
Yeah, no, he sounds very familiar. He
Quick-
also, I mean, I agree with you guys. He was the best part of this movie.
Yeah.
He was definitely the better two of the other two brothers, and obviously Willem Dafoe. I mean, he's just.
I think he was better
I don't
than
like
Willem
his.
Defoe.
I don't like his
No.
character and antics, but Willem Dafoe's an actor. Obviously.
Yeah,
He's
no,
just-
Willem Dafoe's a better actor, but in
He's the
this
best actor,
movie,
though.
Sean Patrick Flanery,
Yeah.
he was the better.
I think Connor is his character.
Yeah, he was the better one in this movie.
I like the weirdness of Defoe's character.
Well,
but anyway,
it wasn't
I
bad.
think- I
He wasn't
think-
in it as much.
I think for me, it went too far one way too many times.
Hmm.
Where like, it's like super serious, and then he kind of goes like really far on one, and then he goes back to being serious, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
I don't know about that. Like,
Yeah.
some of the times where I'm just like, there's a scene where he like does like a little dance.
yeah,
I was like,
he's
unnecessary.
river dancing.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
he's
and I
doing
was
like an
like-
Irish jig at a crime scene, and I'm like, oh, this is goofy. I like this.
The
Like,
firefight part was pretty funny.
I love that's.
I wish there was more of that, or because he there's what 3 scenes he does detective work, I think. Right?
Yeah,
And only in the last one they do it, and where he's also there.
like simultaneous.
but like in the other 2 they don't, and I wish they did that.
yeah, that would have been cool.
There was one where he was kind of in there. The strip club one.
Oh yeah,
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
but
Well, what do you think about how they showed that though? Because it went straight from, they didn't show the crime. They showed the right before the crime scene,
And then
fade
the
to black,
aftermath.
and then it goes automatically to the police,
aftermath, yeah.
and then it's Willem Dafoe explaining everything what he thinks,
Mhm.
and then they show the actual scene straight up. Were you like, oh, this is fine? Or
I did kind of like that because I thought it like built to the suspense because you knew that something was gonna go wrong or a certain thing was gonna happen, but you were just like, oh, I wonder how they got there, and then Defoe would break it down, and then you'd be like, oh yeah, that sounds interesting, and then they would show that yes, this is how it went, or no, this is how it actually went.
I did like how after they showed us the actual scene, you go back to Willem Dafoe and he figures out, he's like, oh, there's 2 different bullets from each side because he crossed his hands.
Yeah, like he notices the details.
And
yeah,
then
Willem Dafoe's like deduction is like it's fun.
Mhm.
It is interesting.
that first scene where he shows up was like really good detective where he's just like, oh yeah, you'll find the bullet under this person.
That was so funny. Where he was like, "How'd you know there was a bullet?" She was like, "Well, a bullet hole might say." Like, I think that might be an obvious clue.
Yeah. I did like how he was shitting on that one detective.
Yeah, there's like another detective. He was like, I gotta assume the main detective.
Yeah, I forgot his name. I thought I wrote it down, but no.
They say his name all the time too.
Yeah, it's something with an M, but yeah, like they keep shitting on him because he comes
wrong.
up. He's
Except for
wrong.
the end.
Yeah, he's wrong, and then until he's right the one time.
Even though it didn't matter. Even
Yeah.
though it was right.
Did he ever figure out that he was right?
I doubt
No.
it. I don't know what he knew.
Actually, yeah, I think he does.
Oh, he does. He probably doesn't feel anything.
I'll talk about it at the end, but yeah.
No, yeah, like some of the scenes were like I think the first time with the first scene, I was like, okay, this is fine, and then the second time, I didn't think it was well made. I didn't think it was well shot. The whole like detective to real life to back to detective.
I
didn't think
remember
they
the
showed
second one.
enough detective stuff
What was
to
the
me
second
to
one?
explain
The second detective?
Yeah.
the hotel.
Oh,
when they
okay.
showed upside down. Like there wasn't enough of him explaining what could have been an option
Yeah.
to actually show it. Well, maybe we'll talk about it more when.
Oh, because
We're
they
in
didn't do
spoilers.
it that much. They showed it, and then they showed how they fucked up by him.
Yeah, like I wish they talked more. Like,
And then they went to Willem Dafoe, and that was it.
like I was hoping they'd be like, he could be like, well, he would see that, and then he'll be like, he was maybe like think of ideas, but then they just automatically just showed it. And I'm like, oh well, that all right, I guess.
Yeah. I feel like we're getting close to spoiler section, but I do want to touch on a couple other actors or key things. Well, first off, the actor for Rocco, I think he was pretty good. I liked his
So-
performance.
Rocco could be taken out of this movie, and it won't affect it at all.
Yeah. I mean, like he doesn't have like that much of an importance to it.
I noticed that. I'm just like, this movie does not need Rocco. Besides,
He's like the informant, but he's like not
he's the funny
important.
guy.
the funny guy.
So about him,
Yeah.
I think I wrote his name. I wish I did. I hope I
I
did.
think I know this stats. In fact,
David Della Rocco.
Okay.
That's that guy's real name, the actor's name,
Okay.
and that's his character's name.
Oh, they just called him his real
Because-
name.
Troy Duff, they're best friends,
Oh.
and he wrote the character for him, and he's basically just him.
Oh.
Like all his antics and stuff. That's kind of what he does normally.
Oh.
and like all the stuff he does is like literally not like the whole mafia shit.
Yeah.
But like that's basically him. He just wrote him in the movie.
He's
He
the
wanted
funny
him in the
man.
movie. Yeah, that's his actual nickname.
That's why they keep telling him
the
that.
funny man.
Yeah.
Now that makes that weird scene at the strip club like weirder.
Maybe not that part, but
Well, no, it's just more like I'm gonna write this in so my friend can get a little, And I'm like, it's kind of weird.
And the only thing that the director wrote with like as him but with Rocco's character was the cat scene, and we'll talk about that later.
Oh.
Okay.
But that cat scene was also more the director than the actual guy.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I looked him up. He's literally not like, he's just like a comedic guy, like a comedy comedian. And the other movie is Boondock Saints 2.
Okay.
In a dream sequence where he's like, "Oh, hey guys, I'm alive." But he's dead, obviously. So I'll spoil. Fuck, I don't pretend to say that word.
Let's go to spoilers now.
Wait, really?
There's
quick.
another actor.
One more actor.
There's no more actors in this movie.
Not more that I should talk about, but
Yeah, those are like kind of the main
guys.
they're like the four main characters, really.
Yeah.
And I guess there's a one specific character, but we can't talk about it until part spoilers.
Yeah. So let's just get into the general. Would you
well,
recommend this movie?
No.
No.
I don't at all. Like
Oh.
unless you're like you're already itching to watch this, like I wouldn't recommend this to anyone, honestly.
Oh.
Like I regret watching this. Like I don't know if you put a gun in my head and a gun in my balls and you said, would you not watch this movie?
It's a pretty fun movie.
I would be
It's
like, no.
terribly
If I
written.
could, I would never watch this movie again. And if I could forget about the movie. I would. Like I don't know. Like I just don't give a shit.
What about you,
honestly.
Sam?
I could not imagine recommending this movie to like
An average Joe.
an average Joe. I wouldn't like talk to a girl and be like, "Hey, you should check out this movie. Like, let's watch this on a date night." This is not a date night movie. But the boys, my brothers. I did recommend this to my brothers actually.
I could see like maybe one of them liking it.
I see
Like,
both of them liking
if you're eccentric, if you like kind of goofiness, if you don't need a super serious or super well constructed movie, I guess this is up your alley. But if you're a cinema snob, probably look somewhere else.
it. Okay. Well, I think we've established that me and Omar don't like this movie.
Yeah.
I mean, like it is fine, but I wouldn't go out of my way to watch it again. But then again, I think was it Swiss Army Man where I was like, I'll judge a movie, I'll recommend it or not. But if I would watch it with my dad, I would say yes, I would recommend it.
Yeah. And would you watch this with your dad?
Fuck yeah,
Yeah.
fuck yeah. But it's just like it's a white man, and my dad's not a white man, but it's like
Just like a man's power
any
fantasy.
man's fucking power fantasy. Yeah,
Yeah.
I watched the shit with my dad.
If my dad knew English, I think he would also be like, yeah.
Oh, that's why they got subtitles,
my
man.
dad, too.
Or Spanish version.
I did write down notes. It's just like, oh, this feels like a couple of good old boys at work.
Yeah,
Like,
no, dude, I would watch the shit with my dad, so I would recommend it.
Those are
Alright.
just blue collar workers, Like,
Exactly.
That's why any blue collar worker would be like, oh my god,
Yeah.
that's me.
So do you want to get into your stats before we get into the full spoilers? Or?
Well, some of the spoilers involve the stats. Wait, right?
Oh,
No,
But I'll talk about the director.
okay.
There's a lot of kerfuffle
Oh,
and stuff with him.
okay.
So I think I mentioned earlier that like he was a music he was in a band and he still was in a band of The Brood when he made this movie, and it was Sam mentioned earlier with like the church scene, the beginning where the priest is telling a story, and he's telling a specific story about a kitty. What's her last name? That's a real thing. That's a real life thing.
Oh,
That
yeah.
really happened.
Yeah.
I'm trying to look up her name because I don't want to say. I want to say her name right. I don't want to fuck it up. Oh, Kitty Genovese.
Genovese. Yeah.
Genovese. Her real name is Catherine.
With the K?
Let's see. But with the Q. No, we shouldn't make jokes about that. But that was a real life thing that happened. That she was like assaulted and murdered in front of like her house or apartment.
Oh, is that the one where like everyone just like thought somebody else called the cops or
That
whatever?
was like the story was like 38 people watched and witnessed it. And no one called the cops because again some people thought like there already were called. Other people were like, oh, well, it's not my problem or whatever.
Yeah.
But some things came out not too long ago, like 2016, that was a fake story. Not that what happened was real,
Yeah.
but the whole like how many people saw it and witnessed it, like that wasn't like that was over exaggerated by a lot.
Yeah.
And that was back then when the 911 call wasn't like a thing.
Yeah.
So like you really couldn't call anyways. Like it would be very difficult to like get someone to come there like in time.
Mm-hmm.
So like that was exaggerated by exponentially to make it like seem like a bigger deal than it really was. Obviously it's bad, but I'm not saying like the in real life people thought it was like 38 people watched it. And no one did anything. It's like now it was like maybe like a few people did.
Was this exaggerated like in the papers or in the
In the
movie?
papers, yeah.
Okay.
When like the New York Times, like,
Okay.
or like 2 weeks later they posted the whole thing about it. Or
How does this relate to the director?
Because well, no, well, I'm saying that the movie they talk about that scene,
Ah.
and that relates not literally that scene, but like he saw something like that where like he saw like a dead body in front of it, like not in his like apartment door, but like in his apartment place. And there's like a dude like looting the dead body, and he was like, "What the fuck?" And that's why I kind of mentioned that where he's like, "Oh, like I wish someone would like do something about this, but no one will because that's like the whole police thing."
Yeah.
So that's why he like, gave him the inspiration to write this movie. And that he had like a friend who like was an assistant in like a film company shit.
Yeah.
So he gave him the script, and that shit was like a hot commodity. Like a lot of people, because it was so different.
Yeah.
The plot of this movie is like they'd never seen it, so they were like, yeah, a lot of companies wanted to work with them.
Yeah.
And it was Paramount. They offered them $500,000 for the movie, but then Miramax won it with $450,000, but they let Troy be the director and the writer,
Oh.
and they gave him a $15 million budget
Hmm.
by a dude that Harvey Weinstein. That's all I'm gonna say.
Very nice.
But he was also gonna let his band, The Brood, be in the soundtrack,
Oh.
and he was gonna buy the bar he was working in. So he would be the owner. Duff would be the owner of, or co-owner with the guy.
Yeah.
So that happened, and the process of before even the filming was what like the big issues were coming out. So fucking these are some of the names that Troy wanted in the movie.
Yeah.
Mark Wahlberg, Kenneth Branagh, the guy from like the Murder on the Orient Express, like the dude with the mustache. Yeah, Samson.
Don't know that.
Brendan Fraser,
Oh my god.
Ewan McGregor,
Oh.
Patrick Swayze.
Even McGregor would have been cool in this movie.
He was the closest one, and they met. Troy and him met.
Yeah.
But then Troy got drunk, and they were arguing about like the death penalty shit, and then you was like, "Fuck that shit.
Oh,
I'm not in. I'm not gonna do it anymore."
Okay.
So that kind of, and that's gonna allude to more about him, Troy.
Yeah.
And then, but Miramax, well, they wanted Sylvester Stallone in the movie.
Oh my god.
And Bill Murray and Mike Myers.
Wait,
Bill
do you
Murray.
know who these people would have been? Like, would have Sylvester
think-
Stallone been like Rocco or something?
I don't
No, because Rocco's
Oh,
Rocco's
Rocco's
gonna
for his
be
friend. You're right, I guess.
I think Bill Murray and them were. I think they're gonna be like
the brothers, right?
No.
yeah.
the cop,
cop?
Willem Dafoe's character.
Oh.
I think so, because I guess like the most comedic role of the two, I imagine.
I was thinking Bill
guess.
Murray might have been the mob boss. That would have been interesting.
That would've been funny. But like, yeah, the pre-production, Miramax pulled out
Okay.
because they were like, it took too long. Like it was like the filming took way too long to start because they were trying to like get locations. They want to do it in Boston, but churches didn't want to fucking be associated
With this
movie, honestly. And like it took way too long. And then his behavior, Troy's behavior, like really like his relationship with like people in the industry and his friends were like strained because of this. Because he seemed like he kind of was like a douche. Like he'd be drinking and like saying shit and like be like, no, I want this guy and this guy. I mean, they were like, we can't, no. So,
Was he a douche or is he a douche?
I'm not gonna say it because I don't know the guy, so I'm like, he is a dude. Like,
Just in case
Based
he's
on what
looking
he
at this
read.
review of the.
but like me seeing all this stuff I've seen, like he doesn't seem like. I mean, I imagine now he's probably not that bad of a guy, but back then, you have to also understand he's a guy who's like in a band that wasn't successful.
Yeah.
And then working at a bar. Now he's been offered like a fuck ton of money to make a movie that he wrote. I might like.
It does go to your head.
Yeah, that would
imagine.
go to your head.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll give him that or whatever. But because Miramax pulled out, they still paid him like money to do it. But they
They don't want to be like
they
associated
they
with it.
pulled out of the thing or whatever.
Like, no credit for me, please.
I guess he also wanted Brad Pitt,
Oh my
Oh my
god.
god.
which I don't know how he would have gotten.
He would have been one of the brothers.
Oh my god! Oh,
Not
this
sure.
is another thing. I guess the company also offered to have Keanu Reeves and Ethan Hawke in the movie. This is what Troy Duff had to say about Keanu Reeves: a fucking punk. Ethan Hawke, a talentless fool.
No.
So
Oh.
So at the
some
time,
of those kind of antics, it's like that's why
Yeah.
like man, that company was probably like, all right, like
So he wasn't trying to like suck up to anybody.
yeah, he was very
"I'm
much
my
like
own
I am my
thing."
own guy.
Yeah.
Kind of reminds me of what's his name, the dude from
From what?
fucking what the fuck's the band called?
Which one?
Fucking fucking no. Was it fucking my whole life? Fucking
My whole life?
what the fuck? The WWE fucking rolling.
What's his name?
Dirks or Dunks or Dirks?
Fred Dunst.
Fred
Durst.
Dunst.
Limp Bizkit.
Limp Bizkit.
That guy.
Yes, cut me singing. That's the copyright.
Bro.
No, keep it all, please.
He seems like him, like a guy kind of like when I picture Troy Duff, I picture him.
Yeah.
Kind of. It doesn't look like him, but still.
Anyways, early 2000s.
But so after that, he still wanted to make the movie because he thought it was gonna be a good movie.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
he was like, I'm gonna still try to do it. So he got another company, Franchise Pictures, and they were gonna do it, but they offered him way less money, which is what I'll talk about with the whole box office and the budget. So this is the reason why it was this company. They offered him way less. But because he thought it was gonna be successful, he was like he took that shitty deal.
Okay.
Because he was like, this is gonna work. Like he put a head on her faith of it.
Boy, it made a sequel, so it
Well,
worked.
And also his brand, The Brood,
Yeah.
he changed the name to Boondock Saints.
Oh my
The band's just
god.
called The Boondock Saints.
Oh my god.
So if you watch the movie, the soundtrack is The Boondock Saints. That's
Oh.
the band.
that sucks.
Not because oh god.
Not because like it's
Not
just,
because it's the movie.
I hate that.
So the whole after they finally filmed the movie,
Yeah.
with the actors they got and blah blah blah. No one wanted to distribute the film because the Columbine high school shootings just happened. This is 99.
Yeah.
So after that happened, a lot of companies didn't want to show the movie. So he was kind of fucked in that aspect. So a small company, I hope I say this is a weird name, Indican Pictures,
Yeah.
they give him a limited release for
Okay.
their movie. So to my classic money statement I mentioned earlier, the budget was $6 million,
Okay.
10 million if you want to put it like current times.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I want you guys to guess what the box office is.
That's what made like
2 million.
yeah, a couple million.
$30,000.
Fuck.
Oh my god.
Okay.
50,000 to current times.
Wait. So this movie didn't even make a fraction of the budget, but they still made a sequel.
So why it made no money is because it was released in 5 theaters for 7 days.
Oh my
And
god.
that's it.
That's
That's
stupid.
why they
Was
didn't
the
make any
sequel
money.
like a released like straight to DVD sequel?
Could you imagine?
Yeah, because that sequel came out 2009.
Wow.
So that's 9 years after this.
Wait,
movie
it came out in 2009. What the
Yeah,
hell?
it came out 9 years after.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, but so why he was okay with that, like Duff, because he had a Blockbuster deal
Oh.
where it went like direct to DVD, like kind of shit.
Okay.
And he had a deal that only Blockbuster would sell his movies, and that's what kind of like
Oh.
kind of reimbursed it because apparently they made $50 million in
Blockbuster sales.
like DVD sales or whatever.
Yeah.
and just in the States.
Oh.
Allegedly.
Oh yeah, sure, I guess.
Yeah, you're right. There's no official numbers. He just says that's what he got.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said it himself. He was just like, I got $10 out of it.
Oh yeah, I got $50.
And the issue with that though was that the Duff and like the people who worked on the movie didn't get the money because of like royalties because of the contract they signed.
Oh.
So they got fucked over. But I think they sued them and then they had like a whole like they never disclosed how much they end up getting out of it. But like that was a whole big
Isn't
thing.
that still ongoing?
No, it's over.
Isn't-
Because the sequel was involved in that
Oh.
lawsuit if they could make one or not. They couldn't make one because of the lawsuit.
Aren't the distributing rights to Boondock Saints right now like kind of in like
In limbo?
legal?
Well, I mean,
action?
I
Maybe
got-
now, like maybe there might be a new
like
thing.
now,
yeah.
I maybe. But I
Do you
don't
know anything about that?
I just know like this time period.
Yeah.
I don't know anything.
Well, I
No.
mean, if it's on Amazon Prime, I imagine like someone has the rights.
Yeah,
to
because like,
tell
you can
them
watch
to
it
do
on Amazon
Well-
for free too. Like I don't think you even need an account.
No, you need an account, but
Well,
as
like,
long as you have an Amazon Prime account, you
I don't
got
think
it.
I don't even know if you need an Amazon Prime one. Because when I looked it up, it just said free,
I don't
and the
know.
other one did say free with
Good.
Amazon
Oh,
Prime.
when I looked it up to see where I could see it, it was like, oh, Boondock Saints, illegal trouble, shit like that.
Oh, I'm gonna. Have to
I mean,
look that up.
maybe,
Yeah.
but like, no, yeah, that whole like that all that happened like barely post that movie, and like that's why like I imagine it wasn't like a big hit because there was no one fucking watched it unless you watched the DVDs of it or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's like it was like kind of a word of a mouth, like
Oh,
people were
I
like,
watched
"Yo,
this movie.
movie's- yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
really
yeah.
good or whatever. Apparently, it was really big in Japan.
Oh,
Or Japanese people love
I
it.
can see that. I can see that.
Foreign.
interesting. I guess that Metal Gear connection wasn't totally off base then.
Yeah, a lot of foreigner like. He said he was proud that like people were trying like foreign people were trying to watch the movie so bad that they were like find ways to watch the fucking movie.
So, is there a Boondock Saints anime?
Can you imagine?
Could you imagine Norman Reedus like comes back to do
I was
the
about to say,
anime?
yeah, just for that. He's already had experience. He'll just have to tell Sean to be like, "Hey, dude, I've done this before."
I've done this.
He's already made a video game, so what's
Yeah.
stopping him?
To be fair though, that's a completely different way. You don't do mocap.
Wait,
for anime.
Kojima's gonna do the Boondock Saints video game.
Sam says there's like it reminds him of Metal Gear,
Gear.
right?
Yeah.
Norman Reedus started in a fucking Kojima game.
Hey man. You know what? Actually,
What the fuck?
wait.
I'm
Maybe
doing a circle with my finger. Bro. It's all connected.
Maybe Kojima saw that movie and he's like, I love this actor. Let me try to grab him. He probably,
I'm in.
dude. If
Yeah.
Defoe is ever in a Kojima game,
Oh my God.
He'd be perfect.
that'd be great. Anyways,
He's like a rat man.
let's get into the actual spoilers real quick.
Who sucks?
So, I thought the way they took Defoe's character was kind of interesting. Like, they make him weird from the get go. I mean, he shows up to the crime scene listening to like orchestral music, and he listens to that music throughout, and he's like dancing through the scene, and it's like weird, but I'm okay with it because it's the campiness that I'm into.
I think it's trying to make it like or trying to ease you into the reveal later that he might not be so straight and narrow.
Yeah,
No, yeah, he is
He's-
homosexual.
yeah.
He said it. The Duff was like, yeah,
Mhm.
he's homosexual or whatever. And I think he said the only reason, like, not the only reason, like he wrote him because it's like he wanted to like counteract the Boston police. So obviously they're not that.
Yeah.
And like Boston's very much like
not that.
not that.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, this guy coming in and being that. But by the end of the movie, they're all like cool with him.
Yeah.
They don't really care.
But they don't know, do they?
Well, I mean, just you watching him. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
They don't know.
No, I mean they know. Well, because at the end, I guess we're gonna skip to a spoiler to the end of the movie. There's that courtroom scene where they show up. Some of the officers from the Boston group are helping them do.
Yeah, they're
all that.
working with
Like
each other.
they showed up. They unlocked the door for them. They like pull the fire alarm and all that. So that's why I said earlier with that one cop that they kept making fun of, like for being wrong. I think he might find out later on that he was right because he also was in on that.
Well, no one wanted to. He probably didn't tell him. You didn't want him to put him in his place or whatever.
Yeah.
That's how you create a villain for the sequel.
Oh my god.
He's pretty
He's
awesome.
the bad guy.
He took it. We took it with the took it on the chin. He was alright.
But like I liked the reveal of Defoe's character. Like I guess the reveal that he's gay.
I mean, they also make him homophobic though.
that was another thing.
That was interesting.
I didn't like that or the other racial shit in the movie.
Oh, that movie was
felt
really racist.
unnecessary. Especially that one scene with Rocco and Jeremy, whatever.
Or they kept saying the N-word.
Oh yeah.
That was weird.
And they were saying other like racist words
Yeah.
too in that movie. And the thing. And you know what he said about it?
Hmm.
He said, "Well, it's funny." Like he was like, "Oh well, shit, my bad, it's funny." Or whatever. That's basically what he said. Like, that was his only defense.
Yeah,
And I was like,
Anyone who's not white's funny, man. Come on.
Yeah. So with the N-word scene, I understand like why the director might think he's justified because it's the bad guy who's like, because Rocco starts telling the joke and he just says, "Oh, it's a black guy," and then
That was the only funny
Then the
part.
Italian guy, the Italian boss, is like, "Oh, an N-word,"
yeah.
and then he's like, "Oh yeah."
The other guy also, the other lieutenant's like,
Well,
"Oh, you the N." Like he
Yeah.
also kept saying it.
Rocco continues just saying like, "Oh, black guy," and then they keep trying to egg him on to say the
I
N-word.
was just very uncomfortable during all that.
It was.
I thought
but,
that scene
like,
was so like I was like, okay, this is.
I can understand where he's coming from. He's immediately trying to paint these people as like bad people because they're like trying so hard to get this quote unquote good character to say the
There's,
N
like,
word.
They're already killing people. They don't need to do that.
Yeah, they don't. They really
There's
don't.
like William Defoe saying the stuff he says
Yeah.
about homosexuals too, and I was also like,
Well, what
That's
was
so
it?
weird.
What was it like when the reveal that he's homosexual? He's like sleeping in bed with a guy, and then the guy tries to cuddle with him. What does he call him again?
well,
he says
I'm
something.
not
to
gonna
him.
say it.
Does he say the F word?
Yes.
Oh,
I just
he
said
does.
it,
He
so
says that
you
a
might have
lot.
to cut this out.
He
says that a lot.
does.
That's what I'm saying. Like he says that a lot too.
Well, he says. I know later on he's like calls a guy a fairy, and like everybody in the bar, like at the gay
Set
bar,
up.
is like. And I was like, oh, okay, like that's weird, but okay,
he says the F word.
okay.
So I said the F word, so you just bleep it out if you hear it.
Yeah, I felt like those racial and like homophobic slurs were like. I'm saying Troy Duff. I know. Well, I hope he's not racist or homophobic because I don't think he wrote that trying to be that. I think he generally thought the racist stuff was funny,
Mm-hmm.
and I can't really. I don't know about the homophobic thing though.
I think he was just.
He
like,
wouldn't be
oh, this-
homophobic if he wrote that character as
I mean, this is
homosexual.
also
That wouldn't
the-
make sense.
Yeah.
This is the early 2000s when we talked about
This is
Lady.
2000.
When we talked
Yeah.
about Lady Bird, we were like, oh yeah, back then they use being gay as like a
joke.
funny thing.
A funny thing, yeah.
And I mean, this is a clear example of that.
Yeah.
Well, that scenes though with Willem Dafoe aren't funny though.
They're not. They were back then to people.
But
maybe-
it probably
maybe
was
they
funny
were.
to him. He's like, oh, this is goofy, isn't it? Like a gay
Yeah.
person saying the F word.
Yeah, being homophobic. Basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't
away
know.
from those is dangerous.
Yeah, away from that. I did like how they kept mentioning like, oh, this is Defoe was like, this is a weird crime scene because it looks like they're trying to do something from a movie or something. Like, this is totally unconventional, like because they're trying
It's
to
not
copy
professional.
TV. Yeah, I was like, that's cool. I like that because this isn't related at all. But my least favorite aspect about horror movies and like zombie stuff is just like no one knows about zombies or any of these tropes. Like they're just like, what is this thing?
They
And
always
it's
call it zombies, not zombies.
like, yeah.
Walkers, clickers,
I'm like, oh,
undead.
I've never heard of a zombie before. It's
They're like, why
it's-
did he try to bite me?
Exactly. Oh, am I okay if I've gotten bitten? No. Have you seen any zombie movie? Please.
What? My mom just died. I don't understand. How is she staying? She's alive.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
It's like, God damn it.
Like I hate that stuff. So I'm glad
Yeah.
that this movie acknowledged that hey, there is other media in
They're
here.
trying to be James Bond here.
Exactly.
Like
So
Clint Eastwood and all that other shit.
I really like that. I was like, oh,
I love the
because
rope scene.
the rope scene is great.
When they're talking about the rope.
Yeah.
He's like, I want a rope. He's like, what are you gonna do with a rope?
Yeah.
And he was like, and he gets the knife. He's like, oh shit, my bad, Rambo. Like,
Yeah.
What are you gonna do with the knife? He's like, you'll never. Like, what do you need a rope for? Like, you'll never know what you need a rope for. You'll just need a rope.
Then
Yeah.
they use the rope
And they,
to kill the people.
and they use the knife
Yeah.
to cut themselves off the rope.
So it's
So
great.
it kind of worked full circle. It's not really spoiler, but I wish I brought up the brother dynamic. I love the brother dynamic
Yeah, that was good.
of the two. It really felt like they're brothers. Really,
Yeah.
they're twins, by the way. I don't know if you know that.
Oh, I
They're
didn't know.
fraternal twins.
Okay.
Like so they're fucking. Even though I felt like Norman Reedus,
Norman
like
Reedus
looked complete opposite of that guy.
Yeah.
Like I know they're fraternal, but like, geez,
I mean, also Norman Reedus felt younger for some reason.
He did.
it's
He-
because we've always seen him. I mean, I've seen him in The Walking Dead, and he's always looked kind of older
yeah.
in that show.
I haven't seen The Walking Dead. He just seemed more goofier.
His accent, I wasn't a big fan. I didn't think his accent worked. as
Sometimes
well.
the accents were kind of
Are
rough.
They were
any of
too
these
far.
people actually Irish?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. They, you
That's
know.
probably why they were bad.
Yeah.
Some of the action, I was like, I remember the beginning of the movie, I literally was like, what?
Yeah.
I immediately put subtitles. So I was like, I have no idea what
I
they're
did
saying.
too.
No, I kind of understood it. It's been mentioned before that I like English stuff and I like a lot of
English.
Scottish media and all that. So like I don't struggle with accents from that from the UK. So when I heard some of this, I was like, oh yeah, that's fine. Like,
I mean,
I understand this.
Dude, I've seen Doctor Who and I still didn't fucking understand any of the fuck shit they were saying.
I guess you're right. I'm curious how Ewan McGregor would have done it because he's Scottish.
Yeah.
So I,
I
like,
can still probably do it.
but part of me thinks that they would have just told him, "Oh, just speak in your normal accent," and like because an American's not gonna know the difference between
Yeah,
a Scottish or an Irish accent.
Troy Duff would say something.
Probably.
like that.
Yeah.
We're just shit on Troy Duff now. I think we talked about it earlier.
And he managed to piss off Ian McGregor.
I know. Like, how do you do that?
I'm surprised he didn't get in the fucking ring with him.
I mentioned earlier the second detective scene, which is in a hotel.
Yeah.
I thought it could have been executed better. Not the action scene. I thought that was fun. But like the detective scene, they didn't show enough stuff to me to be surprised what really happened.
Mhm.
Like they just showed the dead bodies and then the coins and then that was it. They didn't even show like them breaking, like the ceiling being broken. Because like that, if they showed that, you would have been like, oh, what the fuck did happen?
Yeah.
Or
I
whatever.
think they
but-
did, didn't they? I have
I
a
don't think they
recollection of
did.
them falling through the ceiling.
No. Well, no, I'm talking about like when they're doing the detective work. 'Cause you know, they show the detective scene
Okay.
first. They
Yeah.
never showed the ceiling
Yeah.
once. So I'm like, I wish they did, so you can be like, what did happen? Because you start thinking, what happened?
Willem Dafoe's character had no idea they were hanging off the rope and just spinning
Yeah, like they
around.
Yeah.
didn't see that until the scene actually happened,
Yeah.
and then they go back to them. And he's like,
Okay.
oh well, okay, that. And I'm like, oh well,
Yeah.
there was no like surprise to that. That was kind of weird.
I don't know. I just like his general eccentricness. Like he's in the hotel crime scene. He's like where it has bloody gloves and he's like keeps touching his hair.
Yeah, and all the
stuff.
other cops are like, whoa, stop.
Yeah.
That's gross.
And I think my favorite scene with him is when he becomes absolutely deranged at the firefight with that they have with the Duke. Like when he yells out, "It's a firefight!"
He pulls out a gun and
Yeah.
then starts shooting in the sky. That was so random.
I was like,
That
"This is
was so-
amazing."
It was so funny.
Is that the snake scene that you were saying? Like,
I was thinking of at the later half when they kill Rocco.
oh
He's
yeah,
like, Rocco. And I was like, just like fucking screaming his name the whole fucking time.
I will say I wasn't a fan of how the Duke ended up. Like it was just this.
His character was the biggest disappointment. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna lie. I thought that was such a
So
waste.
he was their dad, right?
Yes.
When
I don't understand.
Wait,
When
he was
he's
their dad?
Yeah. I was
Yes.
about to say, when did they establish that they had like a missing father?
Oh,
They
I just
didn't.
They didn't, right?
I just thought he was like their
No.
father figure.
He's their
No,
dad
he's their
because
dad.
they mentioned earlier that when they do the prayer before they kill someone, Rock was like, "Oh, can I say that?" He's like, "No, it's a family thing. My dad passed it to us, and his dad passed it to him."
Oh.
So when you do the
Yeah.
prayer at the end, he does the prayer, so he's the dad.
The dad finishes it, so he knows.
And at the end of the movie, he's like, "Da, what do we do?"
He calls him Da, but
Yeah,
I always
and
thought that was
that's-
just like, oh, you're the older man, like
No,
you're
it's-
like my dad.
It's his. There's his real dad.
Yeah, no, I know. I made that
Exactly.
connection. I'm like, when did they say they had a missing dad or a dead dad or something? No, they don't talk about their family.
That
at
is
all.
just kind of weird, yeah.
Their mom was supposed to be in the movie too. Like,
Really?
Their character was written and like she was good. Not in it. Like she's
Yeah.
like there were some scenes with her, but they just completely just
Cut her
scratched it
out.
or whatever.
Mm.
But like yeah, that the I guess the dad character.
Mhm.
His whole I don't know, just big disappointment. Like they hyped him up. He did one firefight scene and then that was it.
Yeah.
He never did, and then he technically failed at that because he didn't kill anyone.
No.
So he sucked at his job. That we have seen as an audience, he sucks at his job because
Yeah.
he didn't do the thing he wanted to do.
So that scene where they were possessed by like angels or some shit. What was up with that?
So they had an epiphany.
What?
They had an epiphany
When?
in the
jail cell.
Jail cell. When the water was pouring down their face,
yeah.
They both
that's
just
when
got up.
Jesus,
Oh yeah.
or God,
That-
calls
that
upon
was-
them,
that was
basically.
weird.
Yeah, I forgot about that. I did think that was weird.
That's the beginning of them, basically, like of them doing all the shit they're doing.
Yeah.
And they think they are doing God's work.
Yeah.
Because they heard a message from God.
I mean, they both got up at the same time. Maybe they did.
That's why, like, you would in this movie, you assume they are because also they never die.
But then again, it also never comes back.
Well, I think throughout the whole movie, it's present because how does the one brother break that toilet? And then like
Well, that was
it's
before
shot
that.
in a slow. No.
Yeah,
Is it?
yeah, because that's
Oh,
after
you're
they
right.
go to
But
jail.
I also
Yeah.
do think that's setting that up though, because there's no way he can be able to do that. That's why the movie that scene is shot
you want
slow
to test it out?
Well, no,
I'll break your toilet.
No, there's
Please
that.
don't break my toilet.
I think it's just like he throws the toilet off the roof and it hits the guy. Like he manages to aim it
And
right.
also,
at the
he
guy.
jumps off.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
lived.
That's
He jumped
totally
off like
doable.
4 feet,
Like
4
a
or 5.
that's like a five-story
Remember, he's
building.
like, the fourth had leaking.
Yeah.
So that means it was the 5th floor. So he jumped from the 5th floor and landed on his feet because the way he shot, it
No.
landed on his feet.
Oh yeah, didn't he land on the guy's
He
back?
pushed the dude's back, but his feet touched the floor first.
Ah, okay.
So his feet would have taken most of that. So he was okay.
Huh.
But like there are scenes where like William Defoe mentions like, oh, they shot those dudes perfectly, one bullet in the head.
Yeah.
That's basically like God guiding their bullet to perfectly kill them every single time. That's why everything they do is so haphazardly but works perfectly.
Well, they do.
Because it's like God's will.
Well, God is a vengeful person. You know, maybe he did tap into
In this
these.
movie,
Maybe he did.
that's
tap
where
into
they're
this.
going with. I'm not saying it's real.
I don't know.
And that's why I think Rocco dies.
Rocco,
Because
Roku.
Roku.
Rohan. That like
Finished that, by the way.
he's we'll talk about that. But I think that's why he dies.
Because he's
Because
not
of the
of
other
faith.
3. Because the other 2. Because and that one scene with the priest. Like,
Oh,
he
yeah.
attempts to kill a priest
Yeah,
because he's like, I gotta kill. He's gonna kill someone in a church, and then obviously that's terrible.
you can't do that.
And that's why I think he was like the one that got he's the one that got killed.
He gets marked for death.
Like,
Okay.
obviously plot wise it makes sense, but also why out of the 3 he's the only one that dies is because he's the one with he only wants to do it because of himself, not because of God, which is the other 2 brothers. That's the only reason they're doing it. Really.
Yeah.
It's for that purpose.
That's
That's the thing I did like about it. Like at least that was like a thorough, like a constant. That kind of like quote unquote message, I guess.
yeah.
I don't agree with that idea. Like that, like God will be like, yeah, you two can just go murder a bunch of people. But like, I mean, how fucking I don't know. Like,
I don't know.
I'm not gonna be going out on the streets and shoot random people that I'm like, you're evil and I killed them.
Man, you're lost.
Well, I think we should start wrapping this up, guys.
Yeah,
Any last bits?
I
got?
did want to say, I know I keep bringing it back to Defoe, but I just got to say, Defoe in drag is iconic. I want more of that and more of that stat. I just want to know how that, like, logically within the universe, how did that drag outfit work? Like, how did they think that? I mean, he does look kind of effeminate with that.
So it's funny you
makeup.
mention that.
so.
Funny you mention that because that guy, the priest actor,
Yeah.
I guess he's from like Boston,
Yeah,
and I guess he was there in that scene
yeah.
with Willem Dafoe in the drag, and he said, "Oh, I know that chick." So there are people, I guess, that
think that.
they look like that. Like
Yeah.
William Defoe's character. In
Interesting.
drag, but like I think there are actually women though.
Huh.
I mean, I guess Boston isn't really known for their attractive women.
I guess
Got 'em.
that's a
No,
point.
I'm just kidding.
And one last thing, I did want to say how I really liked how the end credits were, where it was just like as the credits was rolling, it showed like
that was great.
the citizen perspective of the film.
And it felt real.
Yeah.
I don't look at
Especially
the
the-
credits.
What?
I didn't look at the credits.
No,
Wow.
You thought it was goofy or
If it's not a Marvel movie, I'm not gonna look at the credits.
It's
Oh.
not, it keeps going though. Like there's more. Like, there's like
There's like a lot of people they keep talking.
they
to.
interview people.
They're just
Damn.
like, what do you think of the Saints? And they're just
Yeah,
like,
and
oh, I
like-
love them.
Actually,
hate
I
them.
think I did see that.
Yeah.
Do you know
I
those
think it
credits?
I didn't think it was credits. no.
Apparently, also some of those credits were just Troy Duffy naming people. Like they weren't actual like people in the movie. Like
Oh, he just put names.
you
in
just
the
putting
credits?
names or whatever. That's what I read. Like he just started putting names or whatever.
Iconic.
I think those. I don't know if they were sisters or at least they were two friends. Those two black girls. Or one of them was like, "Oh, I think the Saints are cool." He's like, "No, you can't say that. What if your mom watches?
Your
it?
mom's gonna see this, man.
What are you gonna? What's she gonna? Think?
She has no comment.
Yeah, some of the other scenes where like the guy was like that one dude who was like, "Yeah, man, I'm ready to fuck shit up too."
Yeah.
That was so funny. I was like,
that was great.
because he took it the wrong way. I think.
I
He's
know.
like, I love corporal, bro. We should do that all the time.
I believe in the death penalty.
He's like, I'll do it too. Fuck it. I was like,
It was just interesting. I haven't seen a movie do with something like that.
I thought that was really cool. It was like it felt it really felt real. Some of them felt like obvious actors.
Yeah.
There were two things I wanted to bring up.
Yeah.
One way less important than the other. Well, I was gonna talk about Sean, whatever the fuck that guy's name was.
Yeah.
Because his life is fucking cool. But before that though, a pet peeve. I always have this pet peeve. They have rosaries in the movie.
Okay.
You're not supposed to wear rosaries.
Really?
You're not. That's not. It's not jewelry.
They go on your hand.
It's for your prayer. You're not supposed to wear a rosary. It's like disrespectful.
Even
Don't
I know
priests
that.
usually wear that like on their belt or something though?
Yeah, that's not them. They're not wearing it.
Sure, but like
that's for like so they can
Well, I
pray.
mean,
but couldn't they have just worn it on their belt? Like is it okay for an average person to wear a rosary on their belt?
because like unless you're gonna pray immediately,
you can't wear them on
like,
you.
Yeah, like it's like a priest would have it because again it's like a prayer
Yeah.
thing. Like a random guy not gonna wear a rosary. Also, why would you anyway?
I don't
wear
know.
a rosary on your belt, like walk around, like unless you're like a really religious person, there is no reason. Like you don't wear it. You don't wear it anyway. Nothing. You don't wear rosaries. You just don't wear it. It's not jewelry.
You hold them.
Yeah, you hold it for a prayer for the rosary prayers.
Okay.
So that's why I didn't like. I always get pet peeve when like I see someone wear a rosary. I'm like, they're not supposed to wear a rosary.
What about the one in my car?
Wait.
Did
So
you pray in your car?
this isn't like a pet peeve where like, oh, in this movie,
It's a pet peeve
this
in real
annoyed
life.
me. Like people actually wear a rosary and it bothers you.
Yes.
Okay. So
So it's
then
not supposed to. And then in the movie they do, and I'm like,
I've never
oh.
seen anyone wear a rosary though.
I've
I've seen a lot of people wear rosaries.
I've never thought anything about it because I'm not super into that, so I didn't know. I thought it was fine. I was
Yeah,
like, oh
it's-
yeah,
yeah, it's
okay,
not-
that makes sense.
And I think that kind of leads to where I'm like, oh, they're supposed to be religious, but they're wearing a rosary, and like, and that's not. That's why it kind of goes back to me being like, this is like a fantasy thing where like we need some. I probably should have brought it up earlier. I didn't like the religious shit anyways. It felt so like cringy.
The what?
All the religious shit in the movie. Like,
Oh.
I felt like it was like the dudes want to say cool shit, so let's just say Bible verses and kill people.
Yeah, it was
Like
cool.
that was like that's cringy to
That
me.
shit was cool, man.
Like I hope that's not filled.
Nah, it's empty.
Like I never liked that. I think in Pulp Fiction they do that too. Samuel Jackson's character says religious lines when he kills people too, but his lines are actually wrong. Like he doesn't actually quote the Bible. Like
He quotes something like
he
a
quotes
random
random
thing.
shit, which I think that's fine. But like in this movie, they straight up quote the Bible, and then they murder people. And I was like, not that that's bad. I just think in general using like religion to make your characters like
Cool,
yeah, it's like I don't think that works well.
man.
But yeah, the whole
That's
rosary thing
cringe.
was that always like a pet peeve was like someone wearing a rosary. But back to being cool shit. Flanery, that's the guy, Sean Flanery.
Connor.
Yeah. That guy's so fucking cool. So he's married to a Playboy model. Now that alone, I'm like bitching. 'Cause Alex asked earlier if he's in other stuff. A lot of stuff he's famous for is before
Okay.
this movie. Because he was in the Adventures of Indiana Jones.
Okay.
He plays young Indiana Jones
Okay.
for like years. For like the TV series and like the movies. And then he's in the Young and the Restless, that like soap opera show or whatever.
Okay.
That's like he's not like probably on everyone besides William Defoe. He's probably like not as famous. Like I think Norman Reedus is probably more famous, but probably because of The Walking Dead. But I guess there's a thing called the Daytona Pro Celebratory Race, and he won it. And because he won it, he's the next time they do a race, he's considered like a professional racer, not a celebrity racer.
Yeah.
And he still won again.
Oh.
So he won two
Like NASCAR races.
races
Okay.
like back
Nice.
to back. He's a third Dan black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Oh.
And he's actually really good at it. And he said if he found it earlier in his life, he would have just done that instead. He would have been like a fucking master.
Yeah.
But instead he just ended up doing acting more. But he was like, yeah, like I would have 100% just been a jiu-jitsu guy or whatever.
Yeah.
Because I've been working out recently, I told my boss that I wanted to get into like I wanted to do boxing lessons, and he's just like, you should do jiu-jitsu. I'm like, really? He's like, yeah, dude, you'll love it.
I think Brazilian jiu-jitsu is like the thing now. Like, I just keep hearing like, oh, you should do that and you should do that specifically.
Every time I watch wrestling, sometimes they'll be like, this guy's proficient in Brazilian jiu-jitsu and this jiu-jitsu, and I'm just like, where? I don't see this at all. No, I mean, I'm no. If you ask me what it is, I could not tell you what things make difference. The difference between these kind of jiu-jitsus and these. Well, there probably is. I just don't. Mm-hmm. I'm not a fighting guy, so like.
No, I get you. But
you gonna clear your throat, buddy.
Sexy.
I think I'm good now.
That's all the love you had for.
But yeah, we should wrap this
Boondock
up
Saints.
now. But
so I like to bring it up one more time. Sam's movie.
I love this movie.
Boondock Saints.
I love the Boondocks.
All right, let's see. Next movie between me and Omar.
All right, let's go.
Hopefully we get a bounce back movie.
It's Omar.
Hey,
wow,
the old
redemption.
master.
Okay.
You better have a good movie.
See what movie we're gonna watch.
Anything would be better.
I don't know about that.
American Pie.
American Pie would be.
That's
like,
American Pie 2.
It's not on your list.
What do we got?
Raging Bull.
Hey, Raging
Bull.
Bull. All right, all right.
I think it's like one of those movies where like literally everyone and like their mom is always like, it's the greatest movie.
It's the Six Flags.
I have not heard anything about
I was like, what?
the Six Flags. They play it while you're waiting for the Raging Bull, right? Could you
Oh my
imagine?
God.
Could you imagine?
How would that make you feel?
I feel awful.
But like,
It get me pumped to get on the ride.
I've heard like this is
the intensity of the Raging Bull.
like, you're like after you're done with the ride, you're like, how was the experience? Like the movie was crazy. He's like, no, the ride. He's like, I don't even remember. The movie, man, this is crazy.
Yeah.
No, but I've heard this movie's like one of those like the greatest movies of all time.
Yeah. Have you seen it before?
No, I don't think I've only seen Martin Scorsese's like older movies. Not
So
like,
this is the first.
newer. Sorry.
So this is the first for everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Is this the first time?
I think so.
I think we've always seen. Yeah, because you've seen Swiss Army Man.
Yeah.
Blade Runner.
I haven't seen Lady Bird. I don't think any of us.
Oh
have
no,
seen
it's a Lady Bird then, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that was the first one.
This is the second one
So
then.
this is the second one. Well, this was also like we probably know also the least.
Yeah, that's
Like
true.
absolutely nothing about this movie.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I always want to watch this.
A
Stuff.
classic, so I've heard.
Yeah.
Yes. So let's and Martin Scorsese, and he's obviously he makes a lot of great movies.
Yeah.
But I guess that's Scoobity Boop Bop. Scoobity Boop. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Now available to own on DVD and video.